Peace, family. This is Mr. Holipsism once again. Um, the title of this video is called Ideological Clarity. And I think that as the discussion is moving forward in terms of unity and getting together and all this other stuff that people are talking about, I think that we have to have some type of ideological clarity. And the ideological clarity should be based on common denominators and things that bring us together in a sense of shared concerns. There are two books that, if you haven't read, should accompany another book. The two books are Blueprint for Black Power by Amos Wilson, and the other book is Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Um, the reason why I picked those two books is because both of them give an outline and a breakdown of the black nation, and they do it by department. I mean, it's like if once you read those two books, you should have a clear cut understanding of what a black nation is and what its function is and how it operates. Now, the book that I feel that should accompany those two books is a book that really doesn't have much to do with African culture or anything like that, but it's a pure systems book, and it's called The Art of Systems Thinking. Um, I don't know the author offhand because I don't have the book right in front of me, but I'm gonna look it up while I'm doing a video because that's how nice I am. All right, let's see. Okay, the full title of the book is The Art of Systems Thinking: Essential Skills for Creativity and Problem Solving, and the author is Joseph O'Connor. And the reason why I say we should look at this book and accompany the two books that I mentioned is that I think that we really have a schism in terms of understanding when it comes to the concept of nationhood and what that means. And I feel like we don't utilize the resources that surround us for our understanding. I mean, let's just look at America, for example. America is a nation of nations. You have different groups, different ideologies, different religious um, persuasions, spiritual, everything. You have a hodgepodge of differences. So how is it able that this system is able to be the most stable of all the other systems in the world? I mean, what no matter what anybody thinks about America, everybody wants to have their money here. Everybody's tied and invested in here. All these other nations look to America as being the most stable nation on the face of the earth. Why? When it's the nation that has the most um, diverse amount of people in it. The reason why is because the people who designed the system incorporated differences into the design. This is something that we need to understand as African people and black people here in America. Um, the things that we think divide us don't really divide us. It's just a part of who we are. I mean, do you think that you're going to give any information that's going to stop somebody who wants to be a Moor from being a Moor, or somebody the information is going to turn somebody around who really wants to be in the Nation of Islam from being in the Nation of Islam, whether their decision is based on faulty knowledge or not? If they have it in their mind that this is what they want to do, they're going to do it. But my thing is that's a red herring. It's like, why are we even discussing that? What we should be discussing is the things that bring us together, the social, economic, and political persuasions of our reality, which is our infrastructure. Um, I was having a couple of discussions with Moors, and they were talking about the concept of law in regards to how we don't deal with law here in this country and use the white man's law against him. And I totally get that. I totally understand it. And there's also, and I totally think that the Moors have a lot to offer in terms of information in regards to how to handle yourself in a court situation. But see, there's an element X that's missing from a lot of the equations that I'm, you know, of these Moors that I'm talking to. And one of the X factors is this: if you have a store and you get approached by the mafia, and the mafia is offering to protect you, they offering their protection. Now, when they come to you, there's a guy in a nice suit, two other gentlemen, larger, much larger than him. They're dressed in suits too. You're having he's very cordial, very polite, introduces himself, asks how's the family and all of that, but he asks you also, he's offering his protection services to you. Now, we can either concentrate on the obvious, which is the upfront veneer, or we can concentrate on the unspoken words. What's really being said? Even though everything is cordial, everything's respectful, and everything is on the up and up, what's not mentioned is the gun in the room. The mere asking of something of you is a threat by the mafia. So let me ask you, in light of that, what argument or what logical argument can you give to the mafia that would make them not want to extort money from your business? And see, this is the X factor that I'm not getting from a lot of the Moors. There is no magic formula for dealing with courts. There is no magic formula for dealing with the court system and the white man's law. Because all law is an opinion backed by a gun. It's just like you have the right to not have your house searched and seized. But if the cops come in black boots, stomp down the door, and have guns out, let's see you enforce that right. It's just a paper right. And what you got to understand when it comes to the government is the government is a mob. It's a mafia. There's no argument that you can give them to stop them from extracting money from your pocket. What the Moors do, and I spoke to a brother about this, is it's a good strategy for an individual, because if you realize that there is no state, you realize that there is no citizen, and then you realize that the repercussions of that, and also you realize that there is no crime without an injury. These are all valid legal arguments. But if the courts really want you, they can deny your right to even bring forth cases that prove your point. Look at Aaron Schiff. Peter Schiff's father is in jail right now for not paying taxes. Does he have a legal right, legally, theory-wise? Of course. His argument is solid. His argument is logical. But it has nothing to do with logic when you're dealing with the state and when you're dealing with the government. It has to do with brute force. And if you get out of it, which is what a lot of the Moorish tactics they utilize, it's basically like them letting a small fish go. It's like it's not worth toppling their entire system just to get you. So if you get in the courtroom and you have a judge who doesn't want to, really nail you to the wall, or doesn't want to expose himself in court, because if they come out brutally against you with force, they have to expose their own laws to do it. And they're more than willing to do that. I can give you countless examples of people who went up against them and had the law on their side and are now sitting in jail. So I say this not to show that you should be afraid of the courts. That's not what the point of this is. What it is for you to understand that you're dealing with brute force. It has nothing to do with logic, has nothing to do with a great legal argument. You can have a great legal argument and they'll waterboard your ass. This is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a government, you're dealing with a mafia, and nothing more than that. Don't try to give them this air of legitimacy as if you're going in there with your perfect legal argument, and then, oh wow, they're going to say, you know what, that's an excellent point. You can keep your money. The government is here to extract your dollars. Peace.